Hey y'all, John Gann here at Gann's Amazing Grazing Farms. Tonight, I was going to show you how we're experimenting with putting an H-brace out of some PVC pipe just to see if it'll work. We're still working on getting all of our main runs. We got about 3 or 4 runs that go from the barn all the way to the back of the place that we're trying to get put in. We're using 14 gauge electric fence wire, high tensile, and we're getting this put in where we can just run our fences across from them as we subdivide coming up and down the farm here. As you can see, over here is one we done earlier on this year. We done a few of these where we just took our couple spools of 1,300 foot wire, of poly wire that is, and we just tie them on, and we just run them on as far as they will go. And we went ahead and put our post in, which a few of them need to be readjusted and tacked down some more. It was kind of a rush and experimental deal. But that's just PVC pipe we got for posting there, and this is stretched out all the way up the back. But the problem is with the poly wire, it works, but it draws a lot more amps and a lot more current on the charger, so it sucks down some of the power, and it sags a little bit easier. You can't get it pulled as tight and leave it up, so sometimes the sheep get to where they don't respect it as much when it's up in long runs like that for a long time, where it's got some soft spots and some sags in it. So we're still just slowly working at getting the 14 gauge put in, where we don't have to, that way when we go to move sheep, all we got to do is build one fence in front of them and move them. We ain't having to build a whole pen around them every time. So I don't know if this will be a 1-part or a 2-part, maybe 3, depending on how long it takes to do this. But I'm going to try to get the camera set up, and I'll show you how we're working on putting our H braces in. So first, we're just going to knock us out a hole with our pilot driver. This is actually a power post pilot driver for the power post composite post, but we got it to use because we got it mainly for this purpose. Because the last one we done, we was wanting to go 1.5 to 2 foot deep, but we couldn't get down. We kept hitting rock and stuff. So this should open us a hole up to drive our pipe on in with. And the reason we're doing this with the PVC pipe is we've got a few of the fiberglass posts, which work really good, and you can use one of them, yeah, but they're almost $5 a piece, where we can buy a stick of this pipe for $2 or $3. So, I mean, it's kind of cheaper, which I guess if you had to use 2 of those fiberglass posts to get in to hold it, it'd still cost you more money. I've seen where they say you can put one in. We've got one on back down the field there holding one in place, but we know even when it drove in a good 1.5 to 2 foot, when we got a pull on it, it still tried to pull over a little bit. And we don't have very many of them, so we'd have to go buy a bunch more to make it work. We're here about $5 we can have us a corner put in. I'm hoping we can put quite a bit, pull our fence tight, but pull against it to hold. I don't know. This is going to be a test, and if it works, it's something that might save you some money on down the road too. We're going to put this back in. I'm not sure if we got our hole quite deep enough or not. So I think we're going to hit it a few more licks just to be sure. Well, it looks like 2 foot is right at the driver, so we're going to take it all the way down. But I really don't know if we're going to get 2 foot in the ground, but hell, that'll be about 1.5 feet, so that'd be pretty good. Which that driver, or that pilot driver, is just a little bit smaller than what this is. So it makes the hole, but yet it's not too big for our pipe. We're just going to measure and find our 2 foot mark on here and see how close we get. The 2 foot is right at the top of the A. This is the first time we've tried since we got that pilot driver. We'll see if it works. So far it seems to, and it took it on in the ground. About like we thought. I mean, it wasn't quite 2 foot. That gives us about right over 3 foot left. So that is about where we thought it was going to be. It's kind of floppy. What we thought about doing, we want to get some 1 inch, or some 1/2 inch pipe to stick inside to sleeve this with, and I think it would stiffen it up quite a bit. But it seems once we put our brace across, that really stiffens it up a lot. I remember what we done on that one down there. I don't think it was quite that long. I think it was only a couple feet in between them. So we'll probably give it 3 foot. Looks pretty good for what we're doing. Fairly close in line. We'll measure this one, see where our 2 foot mark's at on it. We'll drive her in the ground. Looks like 2 foot right on the top of this little N. So, to get her started, we'll get our driver. And a little started. Which these PVC pipe, they usually drive pretty good. But once you get down to a little below the 1 foot mark, we start hitting a lot of rock. That's the problem with the other one. We couldn't even get 1.5 feet in the ground because we was hitting rock. That's why we went ahead and got that pilot driver so we could get us a hole opened up to drive that post on in the ground. We tried using a bar, just the post driver going down over it, knocking it in. Worked okay, but it was a lot of work to get it down and a lot of work to pull it. Had to hook a jack up to it and jack it back out of the hole. So this was probably well worth the $100 we spent on that pilot driver. But when we get out to the other farm where the cows are and start fence out there, I got a feeling we're going to need that just on our regular fence too, because there are a lot of spots out there where it's fairly rocky. So I think we're going to have that just to get our post in anyways. Looks like we're a few inches away from our marks. That's probably as far as we got it drove in a while ago anyways. Which I was hoping for the 2 foot, but I didn't think we was quite gonna make it. So we're the same spot as the other one. We're about 2 inches off from being in, which is about where it puttered out both times and hit too much rock. So next, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have to cut this pipe down, but we're gonna notch it out and use this to run across there for our brace. The best thing we found to that was the grind. We got a little battery powered grinder which works really good for notching the pipe out. So what we'll do, I'm trying to remember the height we done the other one on. Doesn't have to be real high, which our wire, you know, is only, I think it's 16 inches tall or something. So it's probably going to be somewhere right in here, or up in here is going to be, what was we at, 16 or 18 for our tallest wire. If we were at 12, 18, we give a 6 up. So we'll probably put our middle one somewhere in between. We'll probably just stick it right here. Just do it on top of the T. And what we'll do is we're just going to take it and notch it out and make us a groove for it to set in. Every time we do it just a little bit different, just kind of experimenting. We need to notch it out a little bit deeper to get our pipe in. That seems to be pretty decent. And then what we're going to do, when we get done, we'll drill a hole through here, and through here we'll run a wire through it, and then we'll tighten it up right at the post, and then we ran one more lower, and that seemed on our last one to really stiffen it up good. About 18 to the center. A little bit tall. 18 3/4. Try and put it in the same spot.